you downloaded the Bitcoin wallet. It was the full node basically. So followed the guy's instructions, download the wallet, send me a receiving address. Did that. He sent me a link to a block explorer. He said the Bitcoin will be in your wallet soon. I said, okay, sent the gold. Then Bitcoin didn't arrive.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there going, well, what the hell? Like,
I got scammed.
where's my Bitcoin? I got scammed. Whatever. For me, one of the big barriers I've always found in this industry is the complexity of use. Like, even as someone who's been using blockchain and interacting with the apps for a long time, it's confusing. I always thought if there was a way to have blockchain integrated in the back end where end users could use a service, a platform, or whatever, and not really have to interface with the chain if they don't have to, it's a really compelling use for blockchain.
I'm giving away $100 in every episode. All you need to do is to comment your favorite part of the episode along with your Twitter account, hit the like button, and the winner will be picked up every single week.
I feel like Mr. Boom.
Hello guys, today we are having a special guest in the room of Eljaboom. As we know, Troy is a new concept in Web3 where everyone participating in it, we don't have any prepared questions. Means it's not a select of questions that we're gonna come and ask and blah blah blah. It's gonna be 100% genuine to show if the project or the person behind the scene is someone understanding what he's saying, or he's just someone reading prepared answers coming from his team. Today we have a very special project for me and a very special guest that I consider him as a good friend of mine, and let's go fast. His name is Zach. Zach, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Can't complain.
Thank you for such a lovely introduction.
Zach, who is Zach now? We want to know Zach as a person, where he came from, etc. And then what is World Mobile in your life?
So, born in the UK, moved to Australia when I was almost 8. I think it was just before my 8th birthday.
Oh, so you're British. I didn't know that. I thought you were Australian actually.
No. British. Moved to Australia when just before my 8th birthday. Been there pretty much ever since. I am a father of 2. I have a beautiful fiance. And obviously very involved in the Web3 space. I got into crypto in, I think it was like end of 2011, early 2012, through gaming. I love gaming.
What game you used to play?
RuneScape and World of Warcraft.
So like me, you played one.
Yeah.
Which class?
I was a hunter dwarf.
Okay, so you were Alliance.
Yeah.
Oh fuck no.
Yeah.
That's bad, man.
Always Alliance.
We ain't gonna be friends.
Never
anymore.
Horde. And so that was kind of like my first introduction to crypto. I was sort of like mucking around with in-game gold, and someone said, "Will you trade it for Bitcoin?" And immediately,
the same as my story actually.
I'm
But I
like,
was boosting back in the days.
Similar. I was selling gold.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, well, what the hell is Bitcoin?" And they're like, "It's internet money." And I'm like, "Swap internet money for internet money." I'm at no loss, sure. And this was back when, you downloaded the Bitcoin wallet. It was the full node, basically. So followed the guy's instructions, download the wallet, send me a receiving address. Did that. He sent me a link to a block explorer. He said the Bitcoin will be in your wallet soon. I said, okay, sent the gold. Then Bitcoin didn't arrive.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there going, well, what the hell? Like,
I got scammed.
where's my Bitcoin? I got scammed. Whatever. Closed it. Like 4 or 5 days later, I was like, oh, I wonder if it ever arrived. I opened the wallet and it had come through. I hadn't downloaded the whole chain. This is back when you had to download the whole chain. And I don't even know. I might have been on dial-up internet. No, I wouldn't have been on dial-up internet. No, I wouldn't have been dial-up, yeah. But cable in Australia was, back then was not exactly quick anyway. So it took a while to sync the whole chain. And then that kind of brought me into the Web3 space. I found it fascinating that I was able to transfer something from me to you purely just using like an alphanumeric.
No, but you're running away now. You had the Bitcoin. What did you do with the Bitcoin? So I want to know, either you're a billionaire by now or you just sold it.
So I lost one hard drive with a bunch of Bitcoin on it, which is still, I've never thrown out a hard drive. I've never thrown out a laptop. I have stacks of hard drives, stacks of old computers. The only one that I can't find is that one. And then I started buying Bitcoin. There was a platform in Australia, I think it was called BitPiggy, where you could literally just put in debit card details, buy small amounts of Bitcoin, then they would send it to you. And I started doing that. If I was clever and had probably done a little bit more research into what Bitcoin could have become, I would have held it all.
Yeah, of course.
But like everybody...
Which is fine. You have a bigger thing now.
I have a bigger thing now. So yeah, to answer your question, no, don't still have all of my Bitcoin from back in 2011. And then yes, I after... It was never my intention to make Web3 a career. It was more of a hobby for me. I remember when Ethereum came out. I remember 2017, all the ICO scams. I managed to get through all of 2017.
Alive.
Yeah, alive. And then there was I got stung on one ICO, I guess you'd call it. I think it was Envian or something. It was like the sustainable mining containers and all, and it was a Swiss company, and I was like, I found one, a real one. This one's legit. So I put in a stack of Ethereum. Next thing, I get an email from the founders run off with all the funds. I'm like, okay, well, I'm nearly made it. At that time, I was sort of growing commercial construction companies over in Oz. I successfully exited the first one in around 2016, and then I grew the next one. And around 2019, I was getting a little bit sick of it. I wanted to turn my hobby, which was trading crypto, into a career. Or not so much trading, but mucking around in the industry, buying crypto. I wanted to turn that into more of a career and take it more seriously. So I was getting ready to sell the company. I had a business partner. Both of us had kind of decided that we weren't really that interested anymore. COVID came around, which made selling the business very difficult. Being in the construction industry, they shut a lot of construction down in Australia. And then the guys at World Mobile, I grew up with a couple of the founders. I've known them my whole life. They knew I was into crypto. Started telling me a little bit about World Mobile.
No, I want this to be slow now. Now, you just jumped right away about World Mobile. People don't know your relation with World Mobile. How did you join what is World Mobile?
I'll get there.
Okay.
And so Charles Barnett, who's one of the founders of World Mobile, my dad and his dad were friends growing up in the UK. Me and Charles are born a couple of weeks apart, so we'd known each other our whole lives. They had been in telco for my entire life. Charles had followed in his father's footsteps. And
how old are you?
Me, 32.
Okay.
And so for years he was telling me, I'm doing my own telco thing, World Mobile, and I'd always sort of like pat him on the back and go, dude, I've come from Australia to the UK. I don't want to talk about telco. One, I don't understand telco. Two, it's not something that's really like interesting to me. And I kind of just brushed it off. And then 2019, I got a phone call from Charles, and we're just catching up. And I was like, where are you, by the way? And he's like, I'm in Tanzania. It's like, what are you doing in Tanzania? He's like, well, I've been deploying a proof of concept for this project World Mobile I've been telling you about. Like, I thought it was just like a Vodafone type thing. It was not something that I would ever sort of thought would excite me. So anyway, I said, just tell me, like, what are you doing? And he explained it to me, and he's like, and we want to integrate blockchain into the telco tech stack. So that's very interesting. And for me, one of the big barriers I've always found in this industry is the complexity of use. Like, even as someone who's been using blockchain and interacting with dApps for a long time, it's confusing. Yeah. And so I always thought if there was a way to have blockchain integrated in the back end where end users could use a service, a platform, or whatever, and not really have to interface with the chain if they don't have to, it's a really compelling use for blockchain. So I started researching telco. I said, you've really piqued my interest. I started researching telco. I learned as much as I could from trawling the internet. And then I started asking a lot of questions, and all the questions that I all the questions I asked, I had answers to. So I said, okay, this is something that I'm really, really interested in. And then it came to the part around the token, and obviously being in the space for so long, I have a very good network. And I said, okay, I kind of want to help you guys. I believe in what it is that you're wanting to achieve. I think it's actually a good use case for blockchain. And so sort of began the journey. So I think it was like the end of 2019, I sort of joined the team and started helping them on the blockchain side of things.
That was 2000 and?
I think it was the end of 2019 or early 2020.
Okay.
Around the time that I was getting out of the other like commercial companies in Oz. So it would have been around then. And so then, the relationship sort of developed, and the roles and responsibilities increased, and I ended up becoming head of token, which, for World Mobile Token. So I lead up a lot of the business development and strategy decisions around what we're doing with the token, leveraging my network in the industry to, I guess promote what we do. And yeah, that's sort of where we are now. I think it's how we met.
And where is Mickey, Alan?
So
how this happened?
So through Charles,
obviously.
So, I think Mickey and Charles originally co-founded the company together, I think, with Alan and another guy called Andrew and Antonio. And so slowly I started to meet all of those people through Charles, and the more interest I had shown, the more questions I was asking. It would be, okay, well, Alan's the best person to speak to, or Antonio's the best person to speak to. So the more I learnt about the project, the more familiar I became with the founders, and everything sort of flourished. But yeah, Mickey's the CEO, Alan is the COO, Andrew is the Chief Country Operations Officer, I believe, and Antonio the CTO.
And where is today, like for everyone is listening, what is World Mobile?
So World Mobile
which is the ticker is WMTX. What is WMTX?
So WMTX is the token, and this might sound a little bit cliche, but it's the token that powers the sharing economy. So World Mobile is a distributed and a decentralized cellular telecommunications network. It could either be a Wi-Fi mesh network in areas where it's more cost effective to establish a connectivity layer that way, or a cellular service. So for example, in the United States, we acquired 4G, 5G frequency, which is licensed spectrum.
So you are already deployed in the US?
Yes. So the deployment in the US has been going on for, I think, roughly about a year.
And how is it going?
Good. I think as well as everybody hoped. The first batch of air nodes, which are the connectivity nodes in the network, sold out very quickly. There'll be a second release, which we anticipate will sell out quite quickly as well. And then you've got the start of the network, which was in the proof of concept was in Tanzania, and then to really cut your teeth in and show that what we're wanting to achieve can be done in, I guess, like developing countries. And what we set out to do was prove that there is a way to provide connectivity in rural areas where it's not profitable for the existing incumbents to, haul loads of fiber and set up a towerco model. We could do it and provide connectivity in a sharing economy where people own the infrastructure and can generate, revenue and an income from owning and operating the infrastructure from people connecting to it. So we proved that we could do it in Zanzibar. We did that with like a Wi-Fi mesh network. And then we had a partner of ours who saw what we were doing over there and said, I want you to bring this to Pakistan. So without a single person on the ground from World Mobile in Pakistan, we showed them what to do. They started rolling out the infrastructure themselves, and that has become a self-sustaining economy. But
when we say self-sustained economy, means
it's growing on its own. We don't.
So you don't need to deploy any more capital.
No, we never really did deploy any of the capital. The capital was deployed by the people who are wanting to own and operate the infrastructure.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, that is now kind of growing on its own, and allowed World Mobile to focus on the American market, which is the biggest telecoms market in the world. When you have an ambition to become a global mobile network operator, you you need to have a presence in the big countries as well as the small countries. So now that we've refined the model to a point that it is profitable in environments where people are paying, $1 to $1.50 average revenue per month for connectivity on Wi-Fi, when you've got in the United States, I think, and I could be wrong on the statistic because it's not exactly the silo of the business I sit in, but I think it's around $50 US a month people are paying for connectivity. So the margins are much larger.
So now World Mobile is operating on Pakistan, Zanzibar, the US.
Yep.
What else?
So there's some stuff that we've done in Kenya. There's operations in Nigeria. We're doing some stuff with Vodacom in Mozambique. So Vodacom is a subsidiary of Vodafone. We actually, launched in partnership with Vodacom, the world's first cellular aerostat. So an aerostat is like a balloon. It's tethered to the ground, so it can't float away. It's about 300 meters above the ground, and it can propagate connectivity over a very, very large area, much more efficiently than a tower, for example, because you can go higher. The higher you go, the further you can see. So we did that with Vodacom in Mozambique, and there is further works that we're doing with them. And so there's Kenya, Nigeria, Mozambique, USA, Pakistan, some stuff in the UK, and I know that they're now starting to explore into like the European market.
Oh, that's perfect. I mean, even MENA region. I mean, every place in the world, they still, even if it's, I don't know, we can say civilized country, they still have so many areas that they are not well connected to the internet.
Yeah, so I think, and again, I could be slightly off with these statistics, but I think it's around 30% of the landmass in the US doesn't have connectivity, and I think it's around 10% of the population, maybe a little bit more, that don't have meaningful connectivity.
I think almost half of the population.
Half the world, yeah. But even in what you would consider a developed country like America.
Yes.
You have Australia is the same. I mean, we, in Oz, we inhabit the perimeter of the country mainly, on the shoreline, but there are rural communities that are more inland that have zero connectivity. And so for Telstra to go and haul and provide connectivity into these small rural towns and indigenous communities, it doesn't make sense for them. They don't get their ROI. Where for us, we can do it in a cost-effective manner.
Let me ask you now. We always say on World Mobile, connect the unconnected.
Yep.
And basically, it's also a shared economy.
Yep.
So because everyone is asking what is connect the unconnected and what is the shared economy in a very simple manner. What do you mean by connect the unconnected?
Okay, so connecting the unconnected is basically, as it says, we're providing connectivity or giving people, not necessarily us, but we're giving people the means of providing connectivity into areas that just don't have connectivity. And as mentioned, that can be in developing countries, that could be in developed countries, pretty much anywhere that we obtain licensing and establish a company and set up a network. We can't, let's say I live in Italy. Let's say I'm living in Italy now. I can't just go and set up a node and start providing connectivity because World Mobile needs to come in there. It needs to get the licensing. It needs to have the company set up and all of that kind of stuff.
So it must be fully regulated.
Correct. Everything that we do is regulated.
That's perfect. Means, and that's why I'm always bullish about World Mobile, because I even said a couple of months ago in one of the spaces that I will delete my Twitter account if World Mobile didn't reach to its real potential, because I've been in the space almost 12 years and you will not find a quality project that actually providing a real solution with high demand and not a part of the entertainment industry. So it's not just gaming or adult entertainment or poker, whatever. No, it's actually a real use case, which is everyone needs. And when I say everyone, literally everyone needs.
Yeah.
and in a very simple manner, quality team, transparent, near to the people. Like they're not acting like a big organization where they're just hiring some people to reply for them. No, you always find the team available. Yourself, of course, and Mickey and everyone, like they always there, while they can just be more busy in taking pictures with politicians and traveling all over the world, etc. So I still stick to my name. So you better guys make me stay with my Twitter account. Else we're gonna have a personal problem.
I'll do my best.
Yeah. And the other part now, which is shared economy. What is the shared economy?
I guess like the best way to describe it, and this would be my words of what a sharing economy would be. It's a way for people to own or operate either infrastructure or be a part of owning the infrastructure to provide a service to other people and financially benefit from doing so. So Uber's a good example of a sharing economy. I have a car. I'm, instead of just going to use it to drive to and from work myself and it sits at home the rest of the time, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go hop in my car and I'm going to drive around and essentially act as a taxi. Doing similar stuff with cellular hardware. So, the way it works is you have hosts and operators, and you can have a host and an operator. But, a good real life example of this would be I'm sitting in Australia. World Mobile's not in Australia, but I really want to be a part of this telecoms network. I can go onto the node sale platform. I can find someone who is willing to host the infrastructure on their home in the United States, but they don't have the capital to put it up. So it's like, okay, I'll pay for the hardware. You host the node on your roof or wherever it is. We're contractually obligated to share the revenues that come in from doing that. And so it gives a way for people, no matter sort of where they're located globally, to
so they can actually work together.
Yeah.
But the question is, how can you trust let's say someone in the US that you just mentioned now, and I want to buy the notes for him, right? How can I trust that he just cannot fuck me after?
Well, it's sort of,
are you protecting the users? Do you do KYC,
it's
KYB,
all,
whatever?
it's all done contractually as well. So
okay.
Through the portal, when you go and purchase and you get matched with someone, you both enter into legally binding agreements, and then the revenue is distributed that way. Actually,
funny part that your nodes are sold as an NFT, right?
So,
and the floor price is even bigger than the biggest project in the NFT side, right?
So there's the nodes that you're referring to are the Earth nodes. So they're the blockchain nodes in the network. So I've spoken a lot about nodes, but not really given too much of an explanation of what's what. So you've got the air nodes, which are the nodes that actually provide the connectivity. And then you've got the Earth nodes, which are the blockchain nodes. So everything that happens on the network creates an instance. Let's say I'm consuming data, I'm making a call, I send a text message. All of these things need to be recorded. So we can't see what you said in the text message, but we can see that you've sent a text from person A to B. So we need to deduct from your balance or allocate for it. We can see that you've made a call. We can see that you've been consuming data. We're not here to data harvest. We don't on-sell your data like a lot of the other telecommunications providers. So everything that happens on the network itself, it gets encrypted and it gets sent to our blockchain. The Earth nodes process all of that information and commit that to IO chain, which is what we're building, which is our own telecommunications specific blockchain. So the Earth nodes, the blockchain nodes.
So you'll be the main gate in Web3 for telecom companies in the future.
That's the goal, yeah. So the blockchain nodes, the Earth nodes, are represented by an NFT. So what that NFT represents is one, ownership, and two, I'll use the word license for lack of better words. It gives you the license to register the node on IO chain. So, what we're...
The access more than the license.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, yeah. Access is probably a better way to describe it. So it gives you access to register and spin up your node. And so because we're a multi-chain vision project, we're not one chain to rule them all. We want people to be on any chain to be able to own and operate nodes. So what that means is, let's say we have an NFT on Ethereum. The 100,000 WMT is locked in a smart contract. It creates the NFT on Ethereum. We can have that same NFT and rule set on BNB. We could have it on Base. We could have it on Arbitrum. We could have it on Solana if we so choose. And no matter where it is, you're still able, no matter which chain that NFT is on, you're still able to register and spin up your node on IR blockchain.
Okay. So one of the things always come to my head, like, why would I set up a node in the US rather I can do it in Pakistan? Like, for me, let's say I'm not in a place where I can have my own node. Let's say I'm in Australia. I'm in Dubai now. You don't have here. Which country do I choose? Like,
I guess,
and why?
There's probably two. It would appeal to two different subsets of people. There'll be the people who are more interested in the return on investment, and then there'll be the people who are actually more interested in providing connectivity to people that don't have it, or more affordable connectivity. Some of those who are feeling more charitable might say, you know what, I'm more interested in providing connectivity into rural parts of Africa and to schools. And they're happy to earn less because the revenue that runs through the system is lower. Then there'll be the people who are purely profit focused and say, no, if I'm going to put down capital, I want to get, a high return on investment. Then they'd probably look at somewhere like the United States because the consumers are spending more money.
Then I need to suggest something. Why it's not a pool?
Why it's not what, sorry?
A pool where all the profit will be shared in one pool based on all the countries together and just distributed fairly with all the node operators. Because I'm afraid that the future you will not find anyone want to do charity, and then they're all running after maximum profit, right?
But not quite the charitable aspect. So I was more commenting on the specifics of like your circumstances. I'm not in a country that has licensing or where World Mobile is. So people in Pakistan, for example, it benefits them to go and grow out their own connectivity because they might want it in their house, or they might want to provide connectivity to their neighbors. So there's going to be the people on the ground, but then the people who are remote, like myself and yourself, who aren't living in Pakistan or aren't living in the United States, we have options.
Yeah.
And why not a pool for everybody? I don't think it's just not the design of the business model. The business model is in such a manner that if you are going to go and outlay that capital in America and pay, let's say it's like $10,000 for a node that can provide cellular connectivity versus a node that is $150 to provide Wi-Fi, it's not a fair.
So okay. So here there's a new information I'm trying to take.
Okay, Okay.
So it's not just a node; it's also a different prices for different type of services.
Correct.
Okay, explain. See, I had to go and scratch.
I'll explain it to the best of my ability because, like I said, it's not the silo that I sit in directly. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, like in Zanzibar, it's a Wi-Fi network.
Yeah.
In America, it's a cellular network. In Pakistan, it's a Wi-Fi network. What we're doing in Mozambique, cellular. So each piece of infrastructure that propagates a different signal costs.
What is the difference between the Wi-Fi and cellular? So people like cellular just means you're talking about even an eSIM cards.
So I'll explain to the best of my ability the difference. Yes. There might be some inaccuracies in this, but obviously Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is an unlicensed spectrum. Anybody can go and propagate Wi-Fi.
True.
To propagate 4G, 5G connectivity, you need to have a license for it. So it's different equipment, the different antennas, different strengths, different frequencies are able to, have different bandwidth, so you're able to process more data across those frequencies than you can on others. So there's a huge cost differential between what a Wi-Fi router at home would cost versus a node that goes on the side of a building that can provide cellular service over a 2-kilometer area, for example.
You know, I'm
I
actually
think I did okay.
no, because I'm fascinated because uh, I always say this space is full of trash cans because
I'm pretty sure there's
if
a
you
meme
bring
coin
if you bring
called trash can.
no, even other projects. If you're gonna go to, let's be honest, if you're gonna go to even games or DeFi or whatever, if you're gonna interview anyone from the team, they almost gonna speak the same. It's like you're asking someone, what do you think of Bitcoin price next year? So everyone can tell you, 50k, 100k, 1 million, 3 million. I think it's 5 million. Everyone can say, but you don't find this amount of quality projects like World Mobile where everyone in the team, because it's now you're talking about technology, infrastructuring. There is a limit for the experience that you can reach to. So that's why you so far said like 6-7 times in less than an hour that bear to your knowledge or your understanding of this part. So, and that shows you there is few quality in this space where it actually requires a big team, different type of fields, real experience in Web 2 industry to make this as a Web 2.5 where it can generate revenue and become a real company that can represent Web 3.
Well, that
It's not just the act parties.
no. Well, it's one of the key things that I find in this industry is a lot of people aren't really looking at building a profitable business.
True.
And I see it all the time with blockchain and the irrational pricing model that they have. Networks that have super low fees that don't have like a dynamic fee structure. It's set at like 0.0000001 cents per transaction. You're solely reliant on the price of the token to make it a success and make it profitable for the node operators who are running your chain. Whereas let's use that as an example, and let's say MasterCard or Visa come and say, right, well, your transactions are really cheap, it's fast, it can handle everything that we're doing. So MasterCard and Visa come and start processing transactions. But the price of the token, whatever, they haven't marketed, the Web3 space hasn't really picked up on the project, whatever the reason is, but they've got amazing technology, which it happens in our space. There is amazing technology that just doesn't get the retail picked up. So who profits?
Not only the retail, even the tier 1 exchanges sometimes.
Yep. So who in that instance who's the one that makes the money? MasterCard and Visa.
True.
The blockchain's not profitable. The node operators aren't profitable if they're only reliant on token inflation and the value of the token to offset the incentive. So we operate in what I would consider an irrational industry where there's a lot of irrational pricing. There is a lot of irrationality behind what people get hyped and excited about. And so for us, we're operating a rational business where, we have overheads, we have licensing, we have teams spread out globally. We have to generate money. We have to create a profitable business that sits underneath the blockchain side of things, or blockchain on top, however you want to look at it. But yeah, we had to approach things rationally. We had to look at this and say, well, as a business, how do we proceed? How do we make sure in an environment that's incredibly opaque when we're moving into the United States, which, as we know, the regulatory environment there, it's not clear. There's been multiple lawsuits between Coinbase, Binance, Ripple. I think there's another one that's been brought out against KuCoin, and I'm no legal expert. I'm not here to comment on what's right or wrong, but from what anybody inside or outside of the industry can see is that no one has clarity because no one really knows how to operate within the confines of this forever fluid and evolving industry. So we just had to be as transparent, as clear as we could, and focus on building a business that we believe you've like I said originally, it's like you've integrated blockchain into a tech stack, you've created a token, you've created a token economy where people who are operating blockchain nodes are the ones who are the beneficiaries, and then they receive the rewards for operating blockchain infrastructure. And the people who are providing connectivity and allowing World Mobile, to charge customers, they're getting a share of the revenue. You've put hard capital down. You've bought a node in America for 10 grand. We're able to charge people $50 a month for subscribing to the service and connecting to your node. Then there you go. You get the
revenue.
Yep.
A part of it. Zach, what, now besides World Mobile and your mission not to make my Twitter account get closed?
Yep.
How is your day-to-day life?
Ooh, so a typical day in the life of Zach.
With the baby, mashallah,
With the baby.
congratulations.
Thank you. So it normally starts at around, I'd say about 7 a.m.
Okay.
Baby's awake. She's crying, wakes me up. And then probably within half an hour to 45 minutes, my son's alarm's going off.
How old is he?
He is 15. He's not waking up for, I am. So I hear it from the other room.
I've never seen him before.
No. So I go in, I wake him up, get him ready for school. I do the school run, or my fiance will do the school run, depending on who's less tired. Then I spend a couple of hours in the morning either going to the gym or doing chores around the house, making sure whatever shopping we need to do while the baby's looked after by my fiance, because she's just incredible at doing that. And then normally around midday-ish Australia time, I start work. I'll be on work calls from anywhere between midday to midnight to 1 or 2 a.m. Depending on what time zone I'm in. That's why I like to spend a lot of time in Dubai, because it's a much more friendly time zone for working with Europe. Not the same for America, but my interactions with the US are much less than they are with the European team. And then I go to sleep, and it's sort of rinse and repeat. And in between work, I'm trying to do as much homework and research on the industry that I can.
So basically, you work most of the day?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
do you take like weekly offs or?
No, look, how can you in an industry that's 24/7? I try my best on the weekends to kind of switch off. I'm a partner in another company that's involved in the Web3 industry quite heavily. So, I juggle my responsibilities between World Mobile and my other company, but it's all sort of asynchronous between one another. The two companies work well together. And so weekends are the time that I like to be able to kind of disconnect to the best of my ability, but you never can, right?
You cannot,
it's
yes.
exhausting. I was having a conversation with another friend of mine who's been in this industry for the same amount of time we have, except full time. So I think it was like 2013, 14, or 13, I think it was. He did the full-time crypto. I was talking to him yesterday, and he's like, how do you explain to people who work 9 to 5 that nothing shuts off? My traditional finance friends who are like fund managers, I'll be, out with them might go out for dinner on a Saturday night, and someone's pinging me about something, and he'll say, I'll open a chart, and he's like, it's Saturday or it's Sunday. The markets aren't open. And I'm like, mine are.
That's the part that we. I even tell myself when I'm gonna get a day off at least, and when I plan to get a day off, it's never off.
There's no such thing.
It never is off.
You get gaps in the day.
You find Zach coming to you, hey, you free for a call? I'm like, oh fuck shit. You can't even enjoy that 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, I gotta appreciate it. The other day when I spoke to you, like, I've only slept for like 3 hours. I'm like, well, you can call me back. You're like, no, I'm awake now. I'm like, okay.
I have to, because if I went to sleep, my head will keep again running. So I would rather just have it. Maybe it's something we need to plan or work for.
You know what? I think it's probably one of the hardest things in our industry is to strike a proper work-life balance.
True. True. It's impossible.
You have to.
If you're legit and passionate, it's impossible.
It's very, very difficult.
If you're a scammer and lazy, it's really easy for you to be done.
I don't know what that's like, but yeah, being legitimate and in this industry, the hardest thing is finding a proper work-life balance, because the markets are 24/7, because the industry is 24/7. There are other people who are working on Sunday. There are other people who are working on Saturday.
True.
And it's just, maybe it's how my brain's wired or how I've been raised. If there's work to do, you just get it done.
See, I always say, when people are saying, no, why you're not treating it as a normal business, I say, because
it's not a normal business.
Yeah, because normal business, it will grow in normal years scale. And it's not going to grow as fast as this, as ridiculous as this. Here, no, you have an idea, second day with just few users, it can be, I don't know, $50 million valuation. There's nothing going to happen like this in Web2. So don't act like you're a Web2 guy when you're expecting to get everything fast. So if you're not dynamic and fast, don't play this game. Go back, open your own company in Web2.
I call this like the machine gun industry.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's exactly like this. And things are changing even over our capacity. where we can at least try to ask each other to know, or like if you're specialized in an area, just give me the summary of what's happening, right?
Dude, I try. It's like, I even messaged you about something. I was like, oh, have you heard about this? You're like, no, what is this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a top tier project. Look, never heard of it. It's like, okay. And then you'll message me about something, or one of my other friends will message me about something. I'm like, oh, have you seen this? And I'm like, what the hell's this?
Yeah.
Where's this $1 billion market cap project just popped up out of?
Popped out of the bubbles, man.
And so it's like, wow, okay. It doesn't matter how much time you spend. There's something that you don't know about. And
or you find exchanges suddenly listing projects that, I don't know, don't even have 15K real followers, basically. And suddenly you get them listed in like tier 1 exchanges or under their listing profile. I'm like, oh, dude, there are some people who are fucking building for a few years, motherfuckers. Just consider them. You have to. I'm glad
you said it.
No, you have to consider them, because it's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for the industry. It's not healthy for the outsiders. Because one day you will be asked, where are these people? If you're going to tell me all these are not qualified, yet the anonymous coming out of nowhere, without even some of them known or doxed founders, getting a tier 1 listed exchange or tier 2 listed exchange, there is something wrong with you. You're not clean. You're doing things unethical in the space. You're hurting the space in general. You're hurting the image as well.
That sort of like goes back to my point earlier. Like, there's morals and ethics, but that's why regulations are needed. There's no real regulation. That's right.
See, we said it at the same time.
And so it's like, I'm not.
I need the regulations.
I have never been one to, and it's probably why I sold my Bitcoin earlier than I should have, because I'm not this anarchical type person that believes that no, there should be no regulation, there should be no government.
No, I believe there is regulations, not because I am with the regulations, because I'm against human savage life. Because humans, unfortunately, yeah,
see, we
human is even
atrocities.
It's worse than my coco monkey, because at least she's a monkey, but
cool monkey.
Yeah. But unfortunately, humans are savage. So if you left them without anything, they will just go Wild West, which is happening.
Well, they digress.
Yeah, so sometimes you need regulations, not because I like regulations, because you just need them to put some boundaries to the barbarian life of the human nature.
Yeah.
Zach, thank you very much for coming. Sorry for having you.
Oh, is that it? We're done?
Yeah, see, you told me I'm busy.
I said I hate cameras. Okay. I hate cameras.
It went very fast. I think we went.
How long has it been? I can keep talking. If you want to keep talking, I'll keep talking.
How long? 40 minutes? See?
It's up to you. You can keep talking. See, these are the kinds of like conversations I really enjoy.
I'm telling you, it's like
it's very rare that you can.
I don't have any.
It's rare that you can speak to someone in this industry that says, "Oh no, no, people probably a little bit more now than they used to be, but pro-regulation." Like you kind of hit the nail on the head before. It's like you go to these. Why is this project getting listed? And from like a business point of view, I really, really understand. It's like an exchange is a business. They make money off trading fees. If there's a lot of demand for said token, then that's what they're interested in. We want users. We want them to come. We want to take a clipping of the trading fees. That's where they make their money. But eventually, like if like myself, who's very long on this space and believe that, blockchain holds a place in society long term, you hope that these same institutions, exchanges, platforms, whatever it is, they kind of start to look at things and go, well, what's actually going to be here for a long time? It's why it's not. I can't go and register a company tomorrow and launch it on a publicly traded stock exchange. There's due diligence.
Of course.
There's certain criteria that a business actually needs to meet before it can go and get listed, and that criteria isn't how many people are buying it on a decentralized venue. So I'm sincerely hoping that over the coming few years, as regulation becomes a little bit more clear, that the top tier exchanges do start looking at things and go, okay, well, what's been built that people are actually using and has been around long enough that people aren't going to get hurt by this. The business.
See, if we looked recently, like people are launching, or centralized exchanges are launching very fast meme tokens, because they have trading and they have community, etc. So they became a part of this crime, in my opinion, because I love memes. You love memes. We all love memes, right? But if you're going to concentrate on memes, it means you're killing this entire industry fully.
Well, yeah.
And at the end, your part as a centralized exchange or as tier one legitimate VCs, etc., to also support the other projects, because at the end, if you managed to make the people in the meme, which is the majority today, try to understand other things in a simple way, they will as well participate to be a part of this. So now the people in meme, man, they are investing every day. I'm in groups in Discord. I'm quite sure, like yourself.
I have to remove myself.
Every 5 minutes, they're putting a contract address.
Yeah.
And people are just jumping left and right. Solana, Base, Solana.
It's gambling, right?
But
life
is
a needle
casino.
in a haystack.
That's the point. That's the point I'm saying. That's the point. And when you have the mother or the father now supporting mainly this, which is like here I'm referring to centralized exchanges supporting mainly meme tokens to give them right away bootstrap trim inside in 2 days, 3 days, then you ask yourself, okay, why would anyone now would, even from the retailer perspective,
Why do they take the industry seriously?
exactly, and why would they invest in a different things? But if you start to get other things, because these people, they are idiots. They don't know that these meme tokens, most of them are anonymous team. Most of them are done by the same team. Maybe they just running around doing one after one by one, like, and that's the fucking reality. Though every meme token became big, you find a story behind it. Like the Pepe, the guy from France, he went buying this Lamborghini, blah, blah, blah. And then you find like weird stuff happening, right? And which is, again, it's his choice and give a fuck. But you have to allow other people as well, because when you put some light on other quality projects, I'm not only referring to World Mobile here, there are so many quality projects.
But that's what I was saying
but
before.
most of them died due to the corruption of this industry.
Corruption, or just they've marketed poorly, but they've got amazing technology.
Yes.
And but everything that you've just said kind of highlighted my point before. We operate in a very irrational industry.
True.
We operate in a space that is irrational, and it's good. Up to a certain point, right? It memes are fun. It's cool to be able to trade something and make money, but like everything, like every meme cycle, it dies and there's people that get wrecked, right? They lose a lot of money. And during that period of time, there are people who have built like a viable product, a viable solution, a good blockchain. They have a good token economy. They work really, really hard. They're honest people. They're just drowned out by the hype of people chasing memes. And then when a lot of people get hurt, they leave.
True.
And so we're left in this kind of like weird situation where there are old timers like myself and yourself and countless other people who stick around. But then there's the people who come in, they want to check out what Web3 is. They think the technology is really interested. They get lured to the shiny things. And all of a sudden they wake up and their money's gone. And so they're like, and then it's like, fuck this industry, it's a fucking scam, I hate this, Like, when I took the decision in 2020 to go crypto full time, sold my other companies, when the market crashed, I can't tell you how many of my friends were like, oh, you're an idiot, why would you do this? Crypto's a scam, you're blah, blah, blah. Like FTX, right? Like when FTX collapsed, everybody, crypto's scam. It's like, hang on a minute. You're highlighting a centralized business that it's like the antithesis of what blockchain and crypto is. If they would have operated a centralized exchange where everything was verifiable and provable on chain, they never would have been able to get away with this. People would have realized, oh, hang on a minute, I've deposited to this address. The money's actually been siphoned here, but they don't. Everybody they deposit to an exchange, its numbers pop up on a screen. It's fractionalized banking essentially. So FTX was a fraud. And that's, and I had to explain to all of my friends, no, this isn't Bitcoin's fault. This isn't blockchain's fault. This is a bad actor.
Which are many.
And there's lots. And so, when you're, again, like in this space where it's incredibly irrational, people can lose a lot of money very quickly. They can also make a lot of money very quickly. The latter is harder to do. The majority of people in this space end up losing money, and then
projects, by the way, when not only retailers, like one of the things I noticed in so many projects, they are very new to this industry. They have great ideas, but they get eaten by the ecosystem. Mm-hmm. They get eaten by the market makers. They get eaten by the centralized exchanges. They get eaten by influencers. I have no problem if any influencer makes money, and he's not gonna use his platform to do charity. He can as well, the same as any platform. You can do ads on X. You can do ads on Instagram. He's the same platform. My issue only with his intentions. They take it, they dump it on the retailer, they dump it on the project. They don't give a fuck, and the project is afraid to even call them out, because if he did that, they are bigger. They might hurt him more. So he just sit like a little dog.
It's an irrational.
Market makers the same. Centralized exchanges the same. It's like VCs, the first people dumping on you. Incubations, they come, we are incubator. And then you find the incubator, by the end of the day, he doesn't know what the fuck is tokenomics. He doesn't know how to design tokenomics. He doesn't know how blockchain works. He doesn't know which right market maker, how to talk to centralized exchanges, how to put the legal opinion, where to operate your company. He doesn't know anything.
But
he just clinged with a KOL. So he become a KOL manager.
But there's just so many nuances to this industry, and I think a lot of the nuances and how to sort of navigate the industry successfully and to get into the right channels and networks, it's not sustainable, right? You can't have a growing industry where there's billions of dollars traded every day to find that the only way you can really get to this exchange is if you kind of know this person and they can introduce you, and then you have to pay a huge fee, and it's not a sustainable
100%
way for an
That's
industry
why I love
to grow.
World Mobile, because it's fully transparent. I don't even need to go to you. I don't need to go to anyone in the company. I just deal to anyone who wants to operate nodes. He doesn't have the cash. I can be a part, or I can be in a country where I can operate it myself. And I just share the economy. I do something well for people. So I have a message while I'm doing it, and yet I still make money. And that's what we are looking for. That's the episode today with Zach. Zach, thank you for coming. Zach from World Mobile.
Thank you for having me.
Zach from World Mobile. I'm always pleasure to have you all the time. You are a very good friend, legit guy, hard worker. And we always say, it's not just a room,
it's the room of Eljaboom.
Let's go!
So delectable, I drop it in a Sprite. This money something slight. I feel like Mr. Boom. I don't want your kitty, I'm just tryna play with Moon. We could hit the city, baby, what you tryna do? Catch me out in Quirksville.